Well, welcome back to Well, That Didn't Work, a podcast about a group of friends getting together to pretend to be other people, creatures, and things, doing things that mostly don't work out for them. I'm your host and your GM, Percy, and with me I've got Mike.
And I'm playing Udell Ilvi.
Jason.
And I'm playing Lukia.
Rick.
I'm playing Click.
And Chris.
I'm playing Varro Dorkon.
And in our last session, we didn't do a whole lot.
We winked at
Stuff
ladies.
happened.
We met a couple of really key NPCs, and those are the things that I want any listeners to take away from that. And we met with Lugnug's xenobiologist named Darrett, a Drawl. I don't know if I actually said that during the session. He's a Drawl, so he's about a 3.5 to 4 foot tall, cute, furry creature.
It's a hamster.
He's a hamster, essentially. And he talks a little like this. He's kind of annoying, and he's super fun. I'm really excited about Darrett. I wasn't actually sure that I was going to bring a draw into it until Luika went to visit him, so I was really glad that she did. And then we also met... also, he has a book coming out very soon called Liaisons with Wookiees. Look for it on Kindle books everywhere. Oh gosh, we gotta write Liaisons with Wookiees now.
Space Kindle. Look for it on Space Kindle. Everybody.
Space Kindle, yeah, Space Kindle, not real Kindle. We have no affiliation. And then we met Ariel Negri, a captain of a trooper squad. You don't know anything else about her except for her name and that she thinks that Udell is ugly. And doesn't really like him very much, but also somehow knows his last name, which he did not give to her. Beyond that, you guys are still investigating this dead Nexu, Lugnug's pet, named Gregory. And to do that, you've split the party. Varho and Udell went to visit with the archivist for the police force on Terrace, who Varho had some connections with, and Luika, Darrett, and Kuklik all went to check out the crime scene that Luika saw only a few days ago. So let's get to it. Luika, you're leading the crew that you've brought with you down into this area, and it's darker than before.
Like some lights have been put out?
Like some lights have been put out.
Okay. Before I head in too far, I would ask a click. And again, you're going to have to help me with the drawl's name.
Darrett.
Darrett.
He's a furry creature, and his name sounds like ferret.
Yeah. No, I get you. It's just, you know me with
just
name.
making sure.
You know what?
Give you a little mnemonic there.
Yeah. Well, it usually takes me 3 to 4 times to hear it to really let it settle. Anyway, I would ask them how good their kind of night/vision is, because as I swing down my goggles to see if they've got any tools or implements that can kind of help them see in the dark.
He takes out, Darrett takes out a pair of glasses, and puts them on, and kind of wiggles them around, and takes out another pair of glasses and puts them on, and wiggles them around, and hits the side of them, and you see kind of a screen, like a layer, go over them, kind of like HD lenses that kind of help him differentiate shapes in low light. I'm good.
I have a utility belt. Would it have a flashlight in it? I would think it would.
Do you own a flashlight?
No, just a utility belt. I'm not sure what all comes in a utility belt.
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh,
Just
okay.
the belt.
Just the belt. Now, if you had the talent utility belt, that would be a whole different ball game.
I see, okay.
You get to pull out whatever you want just by spending destiny points.
I see, okay. Well, in that case, I don't think I have any special talents. If it's looking at something really close, I'm like a microscope, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah. So you're kind of following them as close as you can. Now you can see it's dim light.
Gotcha.
It's just darker than it was when last you were here.
Right, which again is part of the reason why I swung down my scanner goggles.
For sure.
Made it at least easier because it is rough terrain. Even though I'm familiar with it and have been up and down this waterfall probably more times than I can count.
Well, you've probably never been down this low.
Probably.
I mean, you have, but not often.
Right, but at least the entry portion where we will start from, I'm very familiar with because, for
Sure. Well, you had found that blood, and I guess I didn't describe this very well. You had found that blood about 4 stories down the wall.
right. But again, starting out, I would
Yeah.
it would be easily recognizable that it's darker than before we
Yeah.
even get to that level. So
sure.
hence the questioning before we get too terribly low and into dangerous territory with
Can
low
I
light
fix
conditions.
the lights?
You would probably actually know because you've now got this this job that you're kind of working. Which, by the way, don't forget to be there on time. It is going to happen the next morning, and you don't want to owe him the money it's going to cost to bring those chemicals in.
No, I don't.
So you would know that they're kind of siphoning some energy off of other areas of the wall to power their equipment on that level.
This place is in desperate need of my assistance.
Yeah, they probably are.
Okay.
All right. So I guess I would lead the way and get Darrett kind of right behind me to let him be able to kind of see the situation and kind of get them to the platform that I found the wreckage on and kind of talk to Click and basically say, so see this thing loose over here, see this thing over here. What can you mechanically kind of tell about the space as Darrett is looking about like the blood and some of the other things that are more biologic in nature? And that's kind of how I would direct them, and I would kind of take a step back and give them the space because I'm the uninformed one here.
Cool. So Darrett is going to pull out from his satchel a harder case, almost like a 20-inch laptop sized case, and he kind of folds it out, and it folds out like basically a pop-up book of lab equipment. And sets it down and starts going to work furiously on this blood sample and on like all kinds of stuff, anything he can find. And Click. So you're going to try to determine some of the mechanical.
This is fascinating, but I have no equipment since the Verpine military saw no need to equip their mechanic with anything. So, but I have a belt.
Need I remind you, you didn't come here as mechanic. You came here as pilot.
True, of a sorts. But anyway,
You are a pilot mechanic, but you came here for the purpose of being a pilot.
yes. So, wow, this is like a crime scene, and I get to investigate. Let me see. So, this pipe looks like was hit by something, perchance. So, okay, so, I mean, I can come up with a scene, but I will investigate. I will investigate the scene and try to determine. You said there was a pipe broken and some other things. Was that?
Yeah. So Darrett has a little lantern in his bag that you can use to kind of set up and look around and go full Dexter on this thing.
Okay.
So if you want to roll kind of a mechanics to determine some of the maybe malfunctions that were caused by this scene down here to determine how bad it is, that would be an option.
Like if there was a struggle and what was hit where, and perhaps he stepped here and then he jumped over here.
Yeah. So to get those kind of details, you would need to roll perception.
Okay.
So it's kind of either mechanics to determine how bad the damage was, or perception to get an idea of what happened.
Well, I'm going to go with mechanics.
Well, just real quick, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I played Verpine before. With his binocular vision as an innate talent, would that also allow him to see, say, some more detailed parts of the scene?
It does give me advantage.
Yeah. Would he also then be able to utilize that bonus as well?
Yeah, for sure. You would get the bonus if you've got a bonus to your race. Definitely use it.
Adds the blue to perception checks.
Yeah, yeah, for sure you get that. Yeah. By the way, just so everybody knows, I'm not going to remember your racial talents.
No, I understand.
I'm just helping him out.
I appreciate you thinking about that.
Yeah,
because I've never played a Verpine before. I've rarely played Star Wars, other than being the GM. So,
and that's why I wanted to see if you would let me interject.
And there are unfortunately 70 plus species, so I don't know all the details.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, I am going to. I'm going to start with mechanics because that's
determine the
instantly
depth of
where my
damage.
brain goes. Yes.
So would I don't know if your vision thing would give you boosts to mechanics.
It says perception.
It says perception-based talents only, but
like you
said.
So
what if we did this? What if we kind of flexed the muscles of the system a little bit and had you do perception with intellect?
Okay.
Would that kind of help your check? And it kind of makes a little bit of sense for what we're going for, because your intellect gives you that mechanical knowledge, but you're also using that mechanical knowledge for a specific purpose, just to kind of cut down on the amount of checks we're making. So
No,
you're kind of making two
we'll
in
go with
one.
that.
And of course, Luika can assist you in this effort. So
that
if you
gives me
have,
another
well, if she has perception, do you have perception
I
skill?
do.
And you don't, right?
right.
So if he has perception skill, you basically use you use the higher of the characteristic and the higher of the skill between the two of you, unless they're the same, in which case you get a boost die.
Okay.
So basically, because you don't have any perception skill and he does, or she does, you get to utilize her perception.
I'd use my intellect for the base die.
Yes.
And then her perception.
and her skill. Yes.
For skill and perception for the boost.
Yeah. So you guys are literally
which is
working
what?
together.
What is your perception?
I have a rank 1 and a 3 in cunning, so
Yeah. So you would get you would exchange 1 for 1.
yeah.
Right. Do you have any perception
no,
skill?
I don't.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so that would be your roll. Now it is going to be a hard check.
Oh, yeah, just a hard check. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get
Oh.
one boost die for
Yeah.
Nope. There you go.
Yeah, and then I'm going to add a setback because of the amount of time that's passed since the crime.
fair enough. All right.
Uh-oh. That looks... Oof. Woof.
Oh, that's I failed. And
Total wash. Threat and advantage wash
Yeah,
out.
it's a total wash.
Well, not total wash, but
Well, I
yeah.
failed.
Yeah. Had one failure.
As far as everything's
Those
concerned,
are-
it's zeroed out.
Yeah.
So cool. So you're not able to really
Okay.
ascertain. You're not really able to ascertain any information in that regard.
Got you.
Basically, either too many people have come through here. Some of the damage is old. Some of it's new. There wasn't any way to kind of
Link
get
one.
a picture of what went on. You couldn't Sherlock Holmes it.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
it's been a while.
Or
and
back
you've
it.
never done this kind of activity before either.
Or back computer check it.
Yeah. So
Holy fails, Batman.
So yeah, and then you guys have seen, as you were doing this, Darrett was furiously working with his chemical set, and he closes it up and says, "Well, that about does it. I can tell you one thing.
Just one?
Yeah,
No stories to go along with it?
that is Nexu blood." And we're gonna move over to you guys. So you guys leave the facility, and what do? You've got this tiny drive. Do either of you own a data pad?
Actually, I have to check.
I don't think I had enough money to buy one.
I have a mercantiler data pad, but I think that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Do you think maybe your friend Norris might have access to one by flipping a light side point?
I'm sure he probably would by flipping a light side point. So why don't we go ahead and make that assumption?
All right, cool. So you know that he is going to be at this time of day. Now, you guys don't like hang out all the time. You just know each other, and you kind of have a general idea of where he might be. You know that he, at this point in time, would be at Goosebo's Dockhouse.
Goosebo's Dockhouse.
It's a well-known fighting arena / tavern. We'll say that. Not, I mean, more like cantina, but it's more of a tavern. It's kind of a sports bar.
Does it have some side gambling going on too? I'm sure.
I mean, it's got out in the open gambling.
Well, but
Yeah, it's basically on this small patch of lower city that reaches out to barely touch the ocean. Now, you're still elevated. You're still several stories up off the water, but this particular building site like reaches out and touches the water. Like, you could jump off and into the ocean.
Okay.
You could cliff dive. You would die, but you could cliff dive off of the edge of this thing. In fact, there are probably a lot of suicides that happen right here. But the Dockhouse is well known for its Parisian seafood. Like, even upper city people will come down here to eat at this place because it's like the food is so fresh. It's really good. And the place is also quite fun to watch a fight at.
Okay. All right.
And that's what you see when you come in. Norris Hacken is shirtless, He's got, well, really, he has his shirt. It's tight around his waist, but he's bare-chested, and he is duking it out bare-fisted with a guy in the middle of the bar, and there are people cheering everywhere, and you see a couple of low-level bookies taking bets.
Okay. Immediately, I am going to go over to one of those bookies.
Okay.
And try and place a 100 credit bet on Norris.
Absolutely. Give me your credits, and don't worry, we know who you are, Mr. Ilvy.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Here you go.
All right, hand him 100 credits.
Excellent. We'll let you know if you win.
It seems everybody knows
I
you.
know I'm going to win.
All right. So why don't you roll roll a check for your friend Norris? Roll him a brawl check. He has got 2 ranks in brawl and a brawn of 3
Versus
his opponent here, who, I mean, it's just a melee check, and he's got adversary 1, which means for anybody who doesn't know that he's going to exchange 1 purple die for a red die.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave that be.
Nice.
So
That's a hit.
he is going to have a single success after everything cancels.
Awesome. So you see Norris ducks underneath the blow of his combatant, who is also a white-skinned human male. He ducks underneath and comes up with a swift uppercut and lays this guy out flat. Absolutely demolishes him. He was already winning when you walked in. And so he's kind of breathing heavy. He's got several bruises all over him. This has been going on for a while. And he looks to kind of the referee / lead bookie and says, all right, I think that'll be enough for today. And goes over to the bar, and a drink is already waiting for him.
I'll follow him over to the bar and congratulate him.
And the the bookie who you handed 100 credits to is looking at you like he doesn't want to pay, but he knows he has to, so he gives you 300 credits.
Okay. If not, he's going to answer to my friend Norris, who obviously can handle himself.
300 credits, huh?
I knew that was going to ring a bell.
Now, is that 300 credits including my original 150 or
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you said just 100.
100.
100. Sorry.
So it's 2 to 1 odds, I
Yep.
guess.
He had been winning for a while, so even though the other guy's quite a strong lad as well, Norris had been knocking him out, as they say.
I see.
Yeah. So you sit down next to Norris. You've got your new pile of 300 credits. He says, I wasn't expecting to see you today.
Well, I just had to come over and congratulate you, but you know, we do have a little business conduct. Got a question, and
All right.
I've
Fire away.
seen you use it in the past. I know you have a data pad. We've got some information on a job that we're trying to do. You know, my friend over here, and I'll motion over towards Varho's. I don't know if he's followed me over to the bar or...
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So, you know, my friend Varho over here, he has a data pad that, or a disk drive that needs to be read, and unfortunately I don't have a data pad on me. All I've got is my mercantiler one that helps me negotiate better deals.
I see. All right. Just hand it over. Here, barkeep, can I borrow it? And he kind of waves him over, and he knows, like, okay, he wants my electronics. And so he brings over an old school data pad. Think like the old, like, giant Apple books. Like, this thing is huge. It's not a pad. It's just a data reader. And he slides it in the slot and says, wow, did they tell you what kind of information was on here?
Well, we specifically went in and asked about a pit boss.
Well, I don't know about a pit boss, but this is mostly rumors about somebody named Empirico.
Yes, that would be him.
Yeah, these are all just kind of rumors, kind of call-ins. No convictions or real trials or anything.
Well, it is a big sport here. I mean...
Well, what does it say about him?
people assume he lives in the upper city, which is strange for a pit boss. It says that he's got at least 50 fighters under his payroll. You know, that kind of, it's just kind of a list of what people kind of know about a pit boss.
Is there any information on those fighters?
No, not really. It's just kind of very open-ended. Here we go. It's got the date of his next fight. That may be helpful.
Of course, anything. Yes. When's the next fight?
It looks like it's about 2 weeks from now in the middle city. Let's see. It's at some bloke's outpost, Lugnug's outpost. Does that sound familiar to you?
Well, I'm familiar with Lugnug. I don't know his outpost, but I know who to ask.
All right. Well, I hope that's helped you. That's kind of all the information they've got on this disc.
Lives in the upper city, they say. Does it say he's human specifically then, or is it just...
No, it doesn't say he's human, but I think it's safe to assume if he's in the upper city, then yeah.
That was my thinking. Yeah.
Now, just out of curiosity, you see you're kind of doing a little work here. Did we handle our issue with the credits we earned when the wall came down?
Oh yeah, those guys are no threat to you whatsoever. We've smoothed things over.
Okay. Have a few other things I'll talk to you about, but maybe not here.
Look forward to our next meeting, Oodle.
Only you. Okay.
Gotcha. And hey, who's your friend?
You know what? How rude of me. This is Varho.
Varho.
I think we've met when the apartments fell down. You were there.
Oh yeah, you're Kaluve's little partner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize you. I knew your face from somewhere. How you like her?
She's a great instructor. Very helpful.
Good. Yeah. I mean, she's taught me a thing or two in my day.
I'd say so.
How do you know her?
Well, we've got a little bit of a past.
Huh.
I'll just leave it at that. Don't want to put anything in your little wee mind.
Okay.
I'll just pat him on the back at that one.
It's real sweaty.
Then I'll wipe it on the bar.
It's also real sweaty.
All right, cool. So you've got kind of that information, and what do you guys do from here?
I need to make sure I get the disc back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he hands it back to you.
All right. Well, that was
Any
not
ideas?
entirely unhelpful, but not very helpful either.
Well, at least we know where he's gonna be. I mean, if he's got
That's
fighters that are
something.
gonna be going, then maybe we can check and see if the specific fighter we're looking for is there.
Maybe.
All right. So do you guys hang out at the tavern for a little bit?
I'm gonna
the dock house.
I'm gonna look around and see what all's going on.
There's nothing. No high stakes gambling. There's a credit or two here or there.
Okay.
But nothing else. They've kind of subsided the fights for now. Nobody else wants to fight Norris, and nobody else is available to fight each other either. So
Okay, fair enough. We'll hang out for a drink and then start working our way slowly back over towards the arena or where we're staying at this point.
gotcha. So it's very late. Like remember this whole thing started after hours, like after working hours, after Varho's shift was over. So it's getting very late. You guys are still Luika, your crew is still in the middle of your investigation. That whole thing took quite a while. So you guys are on your way back. Varho and Udell, you're on your way back toward the wall to just kind of check in with your crew. And as you've tried to get a hold of them on your comlinks, you hear only static. Static mixed with kind of a screeching sound, which you may know, and especially Varho would know, is the sound of your comms being jammed. Yeah. So that's kind of what you guys hear.
Okay.
So
Not you,
Right.
just these two.
you'll notice Udell
Okay.
kind of going, the damn thing's not working.
Okay. I'm going to use sense and try to see how many people are kind of around us. Is anybody in that range?
Sure. Roll it up.
Ooh.
Couple light side points.
I know,
Very
yes.
nice. So as you guys are walking, do you stop to do this? How do you what does it look like when you try to use sense with your limited training and stuff?
Mhm.
You probably can't do it without any.
Not very much, but I don't want to be
Concentrated
obvious about
motion.
it either, so I kind of stop until like I'm adjusting my foot, my shoe.
Okay. Kind of like put your hand on the ground and try to get a sense, like
Mm-hmm.
almost feel vibrations kind of thing. Cool.
Kinda.
So you sense, I mean, there are a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're in the lower city, but there's
Yeah.
only one other person outside
Yeah.
with you.
There's who I can sense and who I can see, and there may be a discrepancy.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely get a sense that most people are in homes or
Because it's
kind
so
of-
late.
yeah, it's really late. Like it's encroaching on like 2 a.m.
Oh my.
Yeah, like it's really late. Like you guys left at last call basically.
Okay.
So you guys get the sense that there's kind of one person, and about the time you're able to stand up, very close behind you guys from an alleyway, you hear a trap proc, and the sound of kind of a grappling hook shoots out, and you see a kind of 3-clawed hand with a purple thin line shoot out and grab hold of a wall and anchor itself in.
Okay.
That's not something to see every day.
At that point, I'll go ahead and draw out my blaster and start trying to work as close to that closest building as possible.
Okay. Like you trying to look into that alleyway?
Well, not necessarily into the alleyway. What I'm going to try and do is kind of position myself kind of off to the side a little bit, so
Okay.
that anything that comes out has to come out.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shielded from view at that point from whatever's down the alleyway.
Yeah, you sit there for probably a good 3 minutes or so before, nothing comes out. Nothing moves. Nothing makes a sound.
Is that person I was sensed still where they were?
No. In fact, they weren't even behind you. They were several meters in front.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's watching the grappling. I'm making sure I keep track of where that person is.
Yeah. Now, does sense let you have like that much of a pinpoint like location of people?
No, it's not. I don't think it's like a GPS locator or anything. It's a
can
general
get a
sense.
general
if I
sense
know
of the
This
direction.
person's
Okay.
here, and maybe if they've moved.
Ooh.
As I smack my microphone.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Don't you get like their emotional state or something else with it?
I can do one or
Surface
the other.
thoughts?
I got 2 pips, but I wanted to know who was there, and I need to find a specific person to do the
Okay.
emotion thing on.
Yeah.
So if I can with the other pip get their emotional state, that would be great. But if I can only do one thing at a time, then
Yeah. Just the one thing at a
yeah.
time.
Because I didn't know he was there. If I knew he was there, then I might be able to.
Yeah.
Work that
Otherwise, he would just be sensing all the emotions of everyone,
Okay, fair enough.
Kinda
and there
like
are
me.
a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, he's not moved directionally, but you don't know how
Mhm.
far away he is. You don't know if he's moved further down the street, kind of thing. I keep saying he, like generically they.
Yeah. The being.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
I'll kind of quickly peek around the corner down the alley.
You see a small like capsule also anchored into the ground, and that's where the wire is coming from.
Okay. Can I make like a knowledge warfare or something here where I could try and identify what this thing is?
Yeah. Go ahead. Make a knowledge warfare, or education. Either one would work.
Oh.
They're probably both about the same for you.
Pretty much. Against what difficulty?
You were aboard a Trade Federation ship when you were dropped off, right?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. So it's just going to be average for you.
All right. Let's see how this works out.
Nice.
Pretty well.
Very nice. Yeah.
3 successes.
You
three.
recognize it as old Clone Wars tech. This is an electro wire. essentially it's purple because it's vibrating so fast that anything that touches it is not only immediately shocked but suffers severe cuts.
Okay. And how high is this off the ground? Can I get past it? Can I get around it?
It's like at your shins.
Okay.
Do you let Varho know? Like, what are you?
No, I think I'm. It's not that I'm not gonna let him know, but yeah, I don't really have another play here, so I'll kind of Varho.
Yes.
This cable. This is old Clone Wars.
Really? What is
Don't
it?
touch it. Don't touch it. Unless you want a little bit of a surprise.
No, I'm fine without surprises. Thank you.
It'll shock you. It'll burn you. It'll mess you up here pretty quick. But it's kind of like a tripwire. But you know, it's just kind of obvious. I don't know why this would have triggered here in this way.
I don't know.
You want to go
So-
check the capsule out?
Let's set it off.
Yeah, I'll sneak down I'll try and get down the alleyway to see if I can go check the capsule.
Okay. Roll a stealth check. If you want to sneak, if you want to just kind of keep your eyes out, that'll be just walking down there.
I'm just gonna keep my eyes out.
Okay. Cool. So you get to it and you see it's a little more sophisticated. It's Clone Wars tech that's been modified in some way. It's got even like a keypad on it, so like you can't retract the wire like without having the right code.
Okay. That's not going to stop me from pushing buttons.
Sure, yeah, push all you want.
So, I don't know if you want to do that as a computer's check, trying to slice it in some form or fashion, or
No, I think there's really no way to slice it unless you like broke it open. But basically, no matter what button you press, unless you push that code in first on the keypad, nothing operates.
okay. Then I'm gonna circle around behind it and come back up the alleyway and kind of get on Varho's side of it.
Sure. Well, it had like ejected behind you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, like as you walked past it, basically it shot out.
Okay.
It almost seemed like it missed.
Okay. Fair enough. Varho, I think we should get out of here. This doesn't make sense.
I think there's something up ahead, and this has been us from going back the way we came, or to make it more difficult for us.
I'm gonna have to trust your expertise here. So, you lead, I'll follow.
All right.
Where do y'all go?
We keep going where we were
Okay,
going.
keep going forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna slide on my brass knuckles and
All right.
on.
Nice.
Just in case.
Yeah. So kind of as you're walking, you hear another one of these traps trigger, but this time it's like over your heads, and it's as you're walking underneath it. So it's like the timing was right, but it was misplaced, and it just kind of shoots from like a windowsill across and anchors into another building.
In a more panicked voice, Varho, we need to go. We need to go now.
All right, let's go.
All right, and as you're going, you gonna probably pick up the pace a little bit, and so as you're going, you see another 2 canisters that, as you're getting near them, they shoot forward to block access to 2 alleyways, and these are at about waist height.
Interesting. Okay.
So, how much trouble are we going to get into if we discharge firearms around here?
A little for defending ourselves. It goes a long way.
We're defending ourselves.
Yeah. We'll be fine.
I want to see if I can shoot one of the claws out
Yeah, I mean, you shoot a ting.
and have it. I'm trying to break it.
Yeah, you break it.
Okay.
He's gonna you probably get real close to it and shoot it.
And I'll do that
Yeah.
for each one as we're passing by as quickly as possible.
All right, yeah. Cool. So roll a cool check.
Okay. Against what?
What's your discipline? Do you have any discipline? Your willpower's a 1.
Are you kidding me?
Do
I have
do you have any
His what?
yeah, it's gonna be a hard check.
Have you met Udell?
It's gonna be a hard check.
All right. Let's see how this is going to work out. Well, one advantage.
All right. So your check is that you're not startled. As a Duro walks around a corner, and this is the person you've been sensing. Silvered black design bandana wrapped around his head. Really cool looking eye gear that I described before, so if you want to hear about it, listen to that earlier. Wearing a kind of a red scarf over a white shirt and a light tan leather coat with fur on the collar, and then leather pants, walks around the corner and says, "Well, Mr. Ilvey, fancy seeing you on this street."
I don't believe we've met.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We haven't. But my employer isn't too happy about the way you've been earning credits on Terrace.
How's that? I've just been playing a few games with friends.
Oh, well, friends. Yeah, I see. Friends is what you do when you send your lackey to go beat the heck out of them. Well, then we just friends here.
Who is your employer?
Oh, well, don't worry about him. He'll pay me, not you.
Have you met my other friend?
I'm an officer with the Terrace Civil Authority.
Oh, the Terrace Civil Authority. Well, then you will be very happy to see. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out, this here is my bounty hunting credentials.
Take a look at it.
Along with my order to exact payment out of Mr. Ilvey.
Can I see that? I don't think that's legit.
By all means, he hands it to you.
Okay, so is this data pad style?
No, it's like a hollow card.
Can I snap it?
You can.
I'm gonna snap it.
No.
It appears to be broken.
Reaches in his pocket and grabs another. You're not my first mark that I've talked to, Mr. Ilvey.
Can I see that one?
I've got plenty. And he just kind of flips the switch so that the hollow projection comes up, and it's got all his information. It all seems legit to you as far as you know.
As far as I can tell.
Switches it off, puts it away, and pulls out the bounty order as well, and says basically he'll get 2,000 credits by exacting a pound of flesh and making an example out of Udell. And at this point, we're going to transfer over to Luika and Kuklik and Darrett. You guys are kind of wrapping up your little investigation here. And you've not really found a ton of anything.
What did she find out? Or what did Darrett, not she, what did Darrett find out?
Darrett found out that blood was, in fact, from a Nexu.
And that was it.
And that was it.
Okay. Which we kind of suspected anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
Would I be able to just make another general perception roll? I mean, I wouldn't have been standing idly by, but I didn't want to be kind of.
Well, you were directly helping him.
Okay.
That was your perception roll. Was his perception roll?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you were assisting.
That's fine by me. I just didn't know if I could be looking at other things.
Yeah. At this point, Darren says, "Well, we should probably consolidate information with your buddies."
Yeah, that might be helpful.
Okay. I will try to. All I have to do is really think, so I will try to contact him.
So when you try to contact him, it bounces back, kind of echolocation style, and immediately could cause you a headache. So roll discipline.
And what?
Discipline is will.
His will. Okay.
Yep, and it's going to be a 1 red, 1 purple.
Triumph.
Successful. but a lot of threat.
Lots of threat. So you're going to take force strain. But your triumph. Do you have an idea for it?
I was thinking that because you say it bounces back, that it would give me a distance and direction.
Exactly. That's what I was going to go for as well.
Yeah.
Cool. So you know that they're about 300 meters away from like the entrance to the wall.
And it would also tell me that my successes would tell me that I know that it is some sort of electronic jamming device. I might even have an idea what kind of jamming device it is.
Well, your success is discipline. It's not
Oh,
fainting.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
That
taking
advantage would.
It's
give
not
me-
taking wounds from it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the advantage would be like healing strain or doing something like that. But the success was strictly not being hurt.
Gotcha.
Cool. So you get that sense, and you guys, I'm sure, rush up once you've heard that. Like something is blocking us from communicating with our team. This has to be related. Absolutely. You rush up, and it's about that time that you see down the street. You see their kind of encounter going on.
Okay.
Now you can see that everything is in order, Mr. City Authority person. I don't really care who you are. All I care about is that you can't legally get in my way.
So, as a sidebar here, I would like to see if, because I know who he's probably referencing here,
Okay.
I would like to see if we are in another gang's territory.
You most 100% definitely are.
Okay.
Yeah, and you may not have realized that initially because, like, oh, we're like, Lugnug's crew was here. Lugnug talked to us. This must be Lugnug's territory. But you found out today that Lugnug's territory is in the middle city.
Right.
So you don't know whose, but you know it ain't his.
Would I be able to make a streetwise check to see if I can pick out this territory or underworld?
You might be able to. If you do that, I'm going to have you make it up because I don't have it picked.
I do. I know whose territory this is.
Okay.
Do
I'll-
you?
I'll do that.
I do.
Would it be underworld or would it
Whose?
be?
You can't like keep
Nope.
secrets from the GM. It
It's
would
in my
be
backstory, sir.
Streetwise or Underworld, either one.
It's in my backstory, sir.
Against
Your
what
backstory
difficulty?
doesn't cover every district of Terrace.
But we're in the same district.
Unfortunately. No, you're in a district you're familiar with. That doesn't mean that that's the only district there is.
I know.
So
I'm aware.
What would be the difficulty on this?
It's going to be average.
But if we're in the same district as the water,
You're with the waterfall. We made it.
I love my dice.
one threat.
One threat. But
Wow.
A lot of success.
All right, so where are we? Who owns this place?
A street gang called the Crate Dragons.
Spelled like a crate dragon?
Yep.
Like Krayt or like crate
Krayt. And the leader of the gang is simply known as Crate.
Okay, now what do you want to do with this information?
Okay. Actually, I'm going to give Varho a chance to reply here. But I was just kind of a sidebar where I wanted to, and then I'll act on
Okay.
information.
Well, I'm curious about the phrasing on that where it says pound of flesh as a show of horse. What does that entail exactly? What do you intend to do with this man when you have him?
Oh, well, I could break an arm. There's any number of things I could do. Basically, my employer simply wants me to cause a critical injury. And then I can leave. No death will happen. Certainly, I'm not so crass as that. I wouldn't take a job of that quality. But I tell you what, if you allow me to simply do this, you'll be paid up with my employer.
Why would I let you do this?
Because if you don't let me do it, you're probably going to get more hurt than what I want to do.
Does the crate know you're operating in his territory?
Crate can't do anything to me.
You're in his territory. I beg to differ. He can do anything he wants to you.
He can try. But unfortunately, if Crate hurts me for trying to hunt a bounty in his territory, the police are required to hunt him down.
Right, but who's to say that they know that you were out here after a bounty?
Well, unless your friend here is going to go back on his oath, he's an officer of the law and is required to report such a thing. When
But-
an officer acquires information about the whereabouts of one of us bounty hunters, he must report it to make sure that all of my records stay straight with the state.
You know, I think you're slightly mistaken there. I think the crate dragons, they'll come after you.
Well, come
You
after
know,
me,
I
they
do
can
have a good
try.
relationship with the crate dragons. They're my friends.
Yeah, gamblers don't have friends.
We do it when we make people money.
And so go ahead and make a cool check. You're gonna, not a cool check, roll initiative.
All right.
Real quick, what would it take to stealth up on this guy?
You're too far away to make it by this point.
Okay.
If you want to stealth,
So is he starting the combat or is just...
you don't know yet.
You just tell us when
So
we get
cool.
into visual range.
You're in
No,
visual.
oh,
You
we're in
can see
visual.
them. They're 300 yards out.
Oh. Udell! Udell! We can't communicate with you.
300 yards. Have you ever tried to yell 300 yards?
Oh, no. 300 yards? That's a lot. That's a long visual
That's
check.
Well, yeah, you can just kind of see that it's them. Like
Okay,
because
okay. That's fair enough.
because
That's
you
300.
knew that's how far away they were. You know that mass of people is them.
Okay, got you.
It's not because you can actually see details.
I
It's-
finally have a good dice set for an initiative check, and it just blanks out on me.
You're gonna roll into the camera so everybody can see it.
Not from an initiative.
Okay. I'm a little better. I got 2.
You guys want to roll in?
Well, when will we be coming in? That's the
It
ultimate.
depends. If you're stealthing, not very soon.
Well,
It'll be 2 rounds before you're there.
I will be stealthing in because that is.
Okay, but still roll initiative so that
Okay.
you're in.
And you want us to roll cool?
And Udell got 1.
And just so you guys know, this is 100% a nemesis. So he will be having 2 turns.
Oh joy.
Cool. Oh. Snake. I saw that. I got 1 and 1, by the way.
What did you get, Click?
I got 1 success.
All right, so your adversary got a whopping 1 success, but with a triumph. So he does get himself a free maneuver, and Varho, you thankfully put the PCs on top, but none of you have weapons drawn.
I do.
I do.
Do you?
No ranged weapons, but
Well, that's true. You've got your brass knuckles, and
he had
you
his
did have your
blaster.
blaster.
I
out.
did have my blaster drawn.
Mhm.
It was at my side, but it was still drawn.
And Darrett is going to stay out of this fight.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he is. He's a doctor. Damn it, not a military officer.
not a brawler.
I mean, have you ever seen a draw brawl before?
They're quite fun.
This little ball of fur teeth. I don't
Yeah.
know. It just rolls around.
The
I
draw.
want to see
brawl.
that. Is that more fun than a Wookiee in a brawl?
Is he yelling? It's for science. It's for science. So it's,
No, an entertaining fight would be a draw fighting a Endorian.
no,
right.
that'd be interesting.
So let's.
An Andorian?
Yeah, we got just enough time. I think we can handle this fight. So PC turn. Who's gonna go first? And you guys can take any one of these PC turns.
Except me, because I said
No,
I
you
was
you can. Well, I meant you two. I'm assuming you're stealthing with him.
No.
No. Okay.
I'm not
Cool.
stealthing.
Cool.
I'm
So
just
y-
running as fast as I can.
So you can be in this round of combat. So cool. Who wants to go? PC turn.
All right, I'll go.
All right, Varho.
I'm going to stand in between Udell and the bounty and say, you've got a legal bounty, that's true, but it doesn't give you the right to an assault a citizen of Terra. So if you want to attack him, you've got to come through me.
Okay. Do you do anything else?
I
Or
just
do
I
you
make,
just
I
kinda
make
do that
ready for the
intimidate?
assault. Yeah,
Okay.
I do intimidate, sure.
Yeah. Cool. So try to intimidate him, and this basically will make him attack you.
Yeah. So what am I using to intimidate him?
I would say coercion, something like that.
Okay.
Unless you think there's a better skill for that, but I think coercion works best. Like that's kind of a threat to get him to do what you want.
Yeah, I think so.
It's kind of the
Yeah.
way I'm looking at that.
Yeah, I don't know anything else that would work. I think coercion would be best.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
You're rolling against his discipline,
Okay.
which is quite good.
Alrighty.
2 red, 1 purple.
Okay. Okay. Can I ask that we bend the rules again? Instead of using willpower for coercion, use brawn because I'm trying to be physically imposing to
Yeah.
stand in the way?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
That gives me a little bit of help.
Not a terrible amount.
Not
of
a whole
help.
lot, but it helped. It gave me a little bit of something. Not
Yeah.
enough to succeed.
It kept you
Taking threat.
from taking
Yeah.
strain.
Well, he is quite young. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of just gives you a smirk and says, "No matter," and he sidesteps just far enough that he can reach his right hand into his pocket and toss a vibro knife at you.
okay.
Okay, and you are. Do you have any like defense or anything?
No,
All right. Do you want to flip one of those points to make it harder for him?
I don't think it's going to make a hill of beans a difference. So
I'm gonna flip one. And remember,
I know
you can't
already
do anything
passed.
about
I know.
it. Your opportunity has passed. I don't know which one's
That's a
mine, but that's a triumph.
And a blank.
Drive in a blank.
Great, and he cancels
Well, there's your
this
crit.
threat. There's my crit.
84.
Ouch.
It's a good thing we got a medic.
84 on a vibro weapon.
It should be what +2, so that's like 104.
No, not a vibro knife.
Vibro
Oh,
knife
his
doesn't
is.
have pierce once. Pierce one.
His
Or-
has
or
been
two?
his has been modified.
Ah. No, it would definitely have pierce, but the crit table.
Oh yeah, the pierce is definitely there. So that's gonna be what 2 successes. It's gonna wind up being 7 damage with pierce 2. So it ignores 2 of your soak.
Mhm. But there should be a vicious as well on top.
There
of that,
there
right?
is. Yeah.
Okay.
I've calculated already. So to make the best example out of you, he is going to hit you right kind of it's going to hurt a lot. He hits you through the cheek to cripple your face.
To cripple my face.
To cripple your face. So any checks involving your face will have automatically upgraded the difficulty until you get this fixed. Basically, he makes your look so grotesque that it makes any kind of social interaction more difficult for
We're
you.
supposed to be going to a party together.
And this is this is a hard crit, right?
It is a hard crit. And then he's going to take 2 strain damage and just keep walking.
Towards.
He just keeps walking down the street, kind of toward in your direction.
Okay, so he's turned towards us.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's done his job. What does he have to stay
Yeah,
now?
he's watching the Verpine run, and he just kind of nods his head and keeps going.
So he doesn't see me.
He's not looking for you.
Cool.
Okay, so I watched him throw the knife into
Yeah.
Udell.
Yeah, Udell is like grabbing his face, right now. Like it's through both cheeks. So like he's in a lot of pain right now.
Okay, I'm gonna run to
hold
Udell
still,
and
hold still.
remove the vibro knife from his face.
Udell's in the fetal position on the ground, crying.
I'm going to try to render assistance to Udell. I run right past the guy and
Okay.
try to render assistance to Udell.
Okay. It would be the bounty hunter's turn next. So he's gonna make a perception check.
Okay.
What's your stealth?
My stealth is 1 and 1. I've got an agility of 2 and a rank 1 in it.
Do you want to spend a point to upgrade his difficulty?
Yes.
Oh, can I make a medicine check on him, or is that something we'll do later?
We'll do that later.
Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to get rid of the crit. You can extract the knife without dealing more
Right, okay.
damage. Would you guys call that cocked, or you want?
Yep.
Do you want me to re-roll it?
Oh,
At least it wasn't a despair, but still.
One can hope.
That came out the same.
It's a fail.
it's
That's a fail. So he
It was
does
already
not,
a fail, but I was
Right.
hoping for
Right. Well, if that blanked, it still would have been a failure. Right?
yeah.
So he does not succeed, but he's got 2 advantage. So he's going to heal the 2 strain that he took from
Works for
doing
me.
the extra maneuver. Okay. Player turn.
I'll take it.
Okay.
If
yeah,
I-
he's close enough to you.
Perfect. A vibro sword, blunt edge out. I'm not going to cut him, but basically.
Well, you got to maneuver first. He's not right next to you.
right, but
Otherwise, he would have seen you.
I-
He does have a special eye socket going on.
Okay. Well, I was hoping he was walking. You said he was walking right by me, so
Well, he's walking towards you. You
Okay.
remember, you were 2 turns away,
right. So
and
now
he only used 1 maneuver.
okay. So he's technically 1 full maneuver away from me at this point. Is that how you would
Yeah.
describe it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I would basically kind of not approach from the shadows, but just kind of look like I'm this innocent passerby sort of thing. But right as I'm getting up to him, blunt edge of the vibro sword comes out and trips him. So I want him to make like an agility check. So just I've stealth. I don't look like I belong. I figured I can at least make a brawn check or some sort of tripping hazard for him to catch him.
I would say skullduggery would work for that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let's do skullduggery check against his perception, which is going to be 3 purple.
Perfect. I am successful.
You are.
No advantage, no threat, but I am successful.
You trip him. He falls and sees you when he falls. And you see recognition fall over his face.
Do I recognize him?
No. But you get an immediate sense that he recognizes exactly who you are.
Oh,
And that's where we'll end today's session.
shit.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week.